All right, welcome. Another episode of Bet the Beach Live. This is episode number 14 of the series. Today's date is July 10th. First off, I hope you guys all had a happy and healthy and safe and fun July 4th as we did. I got my July 4th shirt on right here. Red, white, and bush light. Classic. Gotta love it. Lindsay just got it for me, so I had to wear it. Yeah, we had a great time. Went up to Maine. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Hope you guys had a good time too. Hope you, wherever you were thinking beach volleyball, playing some beach volleyball, maybe watching a little Stad, the longest running international tournament going. Congratulations to guess who? None other than Sweden's David Amann and Jonathan Helvig for winning another gold. We'll talk plenty about them tonight. And, of course, Taryn Kloth, Kristen Nuss, USA's own duo from LSU, winning another gold medal at the Elite 16 level out in Stad. But all that is behind us now. And I say that because we now have 3 weeks until the beginning, 17 days to be exact, until the beginning of the Olympics, the 2024 Olympics in Paris, France. Which means that we have 3 more shows, including this one. So after tonight, we have 2 more shows to do a deep dive mega, I call it the mega Olympic show. And if you checked out the podcast, and I appreciate you if you do, it's betthebeach.com. You can get us on any of those social media platforms you see right there. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter. We're on all of them. Give us a follow. Give us a like and subscribe on this video, too, if you don't mind. But the point of all that is we got 3 more episodes. This one, 2 more episodes, and we're going to be all Olympics, 100% Olympics all the time. Apologies and all that to an Elite 16 that's happening as we speak here from Vienna, Austria. It looks like an excellent facility, great place to have a tournament. And you have a pretty good field. I would say slightly watered down. Some of the best teams not playing out in Austria this weekend, but a lot of good teams out there, a lot of good opportunities to get some gambling in. I will say this. You've seen me on this show say, I'm red hot. I can't be beat volleyball gambling. Well, I got 2 bets in from the qualies in Vienna. 2 misses. I am 0-2 so far. Betting on beach volleyball. I never did much qualifier betting before, and you know what? I think I'm going to stay away from that. Main draw. I'm a main draw guy right now. Elite 16 main draw. That's where I make my money. So we'll take a look at the list tonight, and I'll post on my story and up my Twitter feed my picks for overnight into tomorrow morning, the first day of pool play on the men's side, date number 2 of pool play on the women's side. Kind of an interesting tournament starting the qualies on a Tuesday, and then having Wednesday be men's qualies and women's pool play. So a staggered start there in Vienna, long 6-day tournament out in Austria, great facility. And again, same apologies go to Stad, the best tournament of the year internationally. People love it, the longest running, iconic, get the golden cowbell. Just beautiful venue for beach volleyball, great crowd, awesome tournament, awesome experience. Also, all well and good, but we know who's going to the Olympics. Everybody's got their heads turned, their attention turned to a bigger goal, and that's why this is the Olympic Mega Show, part number 1, and it's time to get going. So here's what we did. Way back on February 6th, so Bet the Beach started about 18 months ago now, our first posts on Instagram and Twitter, and we started to build it out from there. And I realized I wanted a longer form to talk to you, so then I believe it was right at the new year, I think January 2nd or 3rd, we started the blog, and we had our first blog posts, and that blog comes to you every single Tuesday. Have not missed a blog, will not miss a blog. You get a new beach volleyball dispatch right here from Bet the Beach, from the Sandbar facility, Dunstable, Massachusetts. You get that in your inbox if you're a subscriber once a week, Tuesdays. You can also go to betthebeach.com. So the blog started about this past January, and then Bet the Beach Live started, 14 weeks ago at this point. So we're talking maybe 4 months ago, something like that. And we've been going ever since. And I say that to say this because we put a lot of content out there and we've done a lot of predictions, and it's time that we hold ourselves accountable. What do I mean by that? Well, on February 6th, 2024, Bet the Beach posted their new blog alert. In it, this week, we break down the road for 2024 Summer Olympics and release our first odds to win gold. So remember, this was before I found the BetMGM platform to gamble on beach volleyball. I wasn't gambling. I had not gambled. I didn't start gambling until a few months ago. So what was I doing at the time? I was making my own odds to win, odds to finish, creating my own spreads, doing that whole thing, getting good at it before I was able to actually have a chance to do it. So this tonight, July 10th, tonight's episode is a deep dive on the men's odds to win in Paris. BetMGM has their odds posted as of a couple of days ago. We'll take a look at them. We'll compare them to Bet the Beach's data that we've collected over the last 18 months and tell you where's a good place to put your money, where's a bad place to put your money, where you might want to sprinkle a little bit, get some good numbers. We'll give you the long shots. So here is what we're looking at on February 6th, and there's been a few changes. I wouldn't say drastic changes, but definitely some changes since then. Well, at the time, we didn't know who from the men's side was going to qualify, be it Trevor Crabb, Theo Brunner, or Miles Evans, Chase Buttinger. So we put them both in there. We put them both at plus 4,000. We now know Crabb, Brunner, gone. Brouwer, Mewison. Thought they were going to be in it. They ended up not qualifying. Van de Velde and Immers took that second spot on the Dutch Federation. They are out of it. At the time, Bormans and de Groot hadn't won an Elite 16. They weren't on my radar. I had them at plus 3,000. They are way higher now. Working our way up there. Mullen Sarum at the time, this was pre-Anders Moll's foot injury. I still had them as a slight plus 300 to plus 400 favorites over Ahmad and Helvig. Well, what has happened since February? Ahmad and Helvig have won every single tournament that they have entered since the opening tournament of the year in Doha. Excuse me, we got some mosquitoes out here. I'm getting a little itchy. On the beach volleyball side here from 2024 in Paris, France. We've gone over this list. Here's the quick cheat sheet for you. We have 6 pools of 4 teams, round-robin style pool play. We went over this last week, so I'm going to go very quickly through this. The top 2 seeds in each pool and top 3 seeds advance into the round of 16. Those remaining 4 number 3 seeds from the pools, they face off in that lucky loser. We call it the round of 18. And you're going to refill those remaining 2 spots to get into your field of 16. We go from 24 to 16. Then we start single elimination style from the round of 16. Pool play goes from July 27th through August 3rd. Lucky losers, August 3rd. Round of 16, August 4th and 5th. Quarters, the round of 8, August 6th and 7th. Semis, August 8th. The gold and bronze medal matches, 9th for the women. And it all concludes on August 10th for the men. Now, what are we looking at? What we have done is we have put together a comprehensive data analysis and tracking sheet. So here's what I said in the blog this week. And if you're a volleyball fan, I think you'll know what I'm talking about. Beach volleyball has this need to be challenging to its casual fan. And what do I mean by that? All right, so I'm watching an AVP match, and I see what Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander have for points, and I figure, okay, that's their points. Well, it's their AVP points. Well, it's their AVP entry points, but it's not their AVP technical points. Well, what is the difference? No clue. And how does that relate to getting into the Olympics? Doesn't. You need to have international points for those. All right, so how do you get international points? You play and you win in international tournaments. All right, so the points that I get in international tournaments qualify for the Olympics. Not exactly. Those are your entry points or your technical points or your super technical points. Who the hell knows? But none of those are your Olympic qualification points. We're a totally diverse point system entirely. And beach volleyball does a lot of these things. Judgment calls, hard-driven passes, overhand digs, double contacts versus lifts. There's a lot of ways where I think we as beach volleyball, players and consumers, I think we could go a long way here to make the sport a little more approachable for our casual fans. That said, all these point systems exist. I can't figure out, make heads or tails of one or the other one. I don't really know what's going into that formula, so what good does it do me? It does me absolutely no. So what did I do? Created my own point system. So what I've been doing, and I did it for all of last season, and then this season I switched just the Elite 16s because I knew that the goal here was to 24, 21, works your way all the way down to 3 for a 9th place finish. And I tracked only 9th place finishes and above. So if you weren't getting 9ths and aboves, you don't show up on my ranking schedule. And again, I did all this not to be fair to the guys and gals that are messing around in the qualifiers, that are playing in the future events, that are, either on the come up, on the come down, recreationally playing volleyball, just in it for the win it. I was doing the system specifically so that I could have a good idea of those 24 teams that are coming into Paris here. And ultimately, what does that work out to after you get all your continental bids and you get your French wildcard bids? It really ends up working out to be about 16 to 18 teams that I care about, that I've tracked for the last 18 months, and that I can now take a look at specifically as it relates to what their odds are to win, how they've been playing, and where do we go. So what you see right there, you got your odds to win. Thank you, BetMGM. We got the odds to win for both men's and women's side. And again, today we're going to go through the men's. Next week, tune right back in, please. We're going to do the exact same thing. So this week, it's a men's deep dive, Olympic odds, talk about the picks, where the money's going to go. Next week, same thing for the women's. Full deep dive on the women's side, odds to win, points over the last 18 months, and we all figure it out from there. So I tracked points. Total points, starting when the qualification window opened, I believe that was in Doha as well, early 2022, right up until Ostrava, the final event of the qualification window 3 weeks ago. So I got Elite 16 medals track, gold, silver, bronzes. And again, I was tracking challenge points last year. I stopped doing that this year because the teams that I was interested in had really fallen out of that challenge and were kind of locked into the Elite 16 level at that point, and I felt like it didn't mean as much at that point. So most of the points that came from this season, or all of the points, were exclusively from Elite 16 level events. So I tracked points, I tracked number of medals, and then 2023, 2024, so you can see which teams are trending up, which teams are trending down, and we go from there. So what does that all mean? So now we are going to take a look at the data, and let's look at it nice and close. So what you have here is a condensed version of that spreadsheet that I just showed you. We've taken out the 2023, 2024, and we've just total. So what you see there is the amount of points that any one of these teams earned over the course of the last 18 months and where that ranks them. Right now, this list is ranked or sorted by my Bet the Beach points, the unique, innovative, gonna change the world, new beach volleyball points ranking system. I don't expect you to like it, care about it, any of that. It's for me. It's to give myself an idea of what teams I'm liking and why I'm liking them and kind of where they're going. So I look at those points, and then I also take a look at those medals, that medal count, because that medal count is almost as important. And so the first thing that I came to when I looked through this list and I looked at it versus the odds to win is that my ranking system didn't line up with their odds to win. You see right there, Ayers and Vickler, they're at plus 1,100, but you have two teams, George and Andre, Peruzic and Schweiner, that have better odds to win. And this is a situation where I would tell you this is absolutely, I would go with the odds to win, makes more sense. Because now if we do this and we sort the odds to win ascending, you'll see they got Amon Helvig 1, Molsaram 2, George Andre 3, Peruzic Schweiner 4, working our way down the list. So let's start at the top there with Sweden. Sweden is it's them really and everybody else at the moment. They finished the qualification window, as you can see there, with 7 golds, 2 silver medals. They have 4 more gold medals than the second-ranked place team in Anders Moe and Christian Sorum from Norway. They're listed at plus 175 to win it all. Norway's at plus 350. The last time, as I said, that David Amon and Jonathan Helvig didn't win a tournament was back in March. That was the first of the 2024 season in Qatar, and that was won by the Netherlands, Bormans, and De Groot, who we're going to talk about here in a few minutes. So Amon and Helvig are sitting there at plus 175, which is a short number, I would say, as far as getting your value back on your investment. Somebody, I forget who it was, and I apologize. I don't have my phone on me right now. I think, boy, I don't want to get it right. I don't want to get it wrong because I love all my Instagram followers equally. But somebody mentioned yesterday when I posted this that plus 350 seemed surprisingly good, favorable. I'll take it. I like it. Odds for a team that was the defending gold medalist in Moe and Sarum. There's a lot going on there. The first is the injury. I think the injury plays a big part of it. That was only 2 months ago that Anders Moe broke the bone in his foot, rehabbed for a while, back in Stade, back in Ostrava, I believe, and I think he's playing again here in Vienna, starting tomorrow in pool play, him and Christian Sorum. And they've done good. They've made it to 2 semifinals. They took a third and a fourth over the course of the last 2 tournaments back. So they're right back where you'd expect them to be, or at least close to it. All that said, the injury concerns are real. The lack of conditioning for a little while is real. And then it's really the fact that David Amon and Jonathan Helvig, they haven't lost a lot of events. And they get golds, and they get golds consistently. I mean, 7 gold medals in the qualification window over the course of 18 months is an incredible number. And so that's why they're sitting there at plus 175. And the comment I had in my Instagram last night was, as I said, plus 350 seems like a lock. And I said, yeah, I think you got really good value there with Anders and Christian at plus 350. And I certainly would, and I probably will put a little money there at them to win it. But I would say also put some money on Sweden to win the whole thing, and put a good chunk of it, because I think this is their year. This is the year that Sweden's going to win the whole thing. That said, there's always opportunities and chances for something else to happen, and that's what we're here today to talk about. Nor is Molenstrom, as I said, a great value to pick at plus 350. They have as many total medals there, 9, as Sweden does. They got 3 of each color. And if it wasn't for that foot injury, they'd probably be right up there with Amon and Helvig. You'd probably have plus 200, plus 300, something like that. I think Molenstrom being down allows Jonathan Helvig to bump up into the 100s there. I think without that foot injury, you're probably talking 200 and 300, and pretty interchangeable between those 2 teams at the time. I mentioned that Ehlers and Vikler, in my ranking system, were the 3rd best team. And I'll say something about them. I love that team. I'm a big fan of that team. I got to see them play up close and personal in Montreal at the Elite 16 last August. Remarkably consistent team. They've taken a 5th or better in the last 6 straight Elite 16s. That said, look at the 0 in the number of golds they've won. 0 gold medals, 2 silvers, and 1 bronze for Germany's Ehlers and Vikler. And I said it in the blog yesterday, and I'll say the same thing again today. Will they eventually break through and get that gold Elite 16 level? They might. Is it going to happen in Paris? I would be very surprised, and clearly so at Vegas, because Vegas is putting them at your 4th best odds to win the whole thing, 5th best odds after Sweden's Amon Helvig, Molenstrom, George and Andre, who were just in the gold medal match against Sweden just a couple of days ago in Stad at plus 800, Peruzic and Schweiner at plus 900. I'll say this too, if your local book, if your sports book offers different odds, like odds to podium or odds to top 5, I think, and they offer that for Ehlers and Vikler at like plus 800, plus 900, something better than that, take it and run. Ehlers and Vikler are going to be in a semifinal, I would say. At worst, they'll take a 5th. They're going to be there. They're a very good volleyball team. I just don't expect them to break through and get the gold. So if you can get them for an odds to podium at a good number, I would say take that and run all day. Now, here's one more thing I will say on the men's side, or a couple more things I want to say. There's a couple remaining teams here on the board that have won a gold medal. Let's take a look here, and let's now sort this by Elite 16 gold medals. We got 7 for Sweden. We got 3 for Molenstrom. We got 2 for Peruzic and Schweiner, 1 for Partain and Benish, and 1 for Bormans and de Groot. And these are Elite 16 medals. George and Andre have won several challenge event medals. They've won a couple of silvers and a couple of bronzes. And as we just talked about, Ehlers and Vikler, 2 silvers and a bronze. But there are only, on the board, headed to Paris right now, 5 teams total that have won a gold medal during this last 18-month Olympic qualification window. Sweden, Norway, Czechia, USA, and the Netherlands. Czechia not only did win that Elite 16, but one of those 2 Elite 16s that they won was World Champs, the hardest tournament to win of the year. Some say harder than the Olympics to win because of the larger field. So David Schweiner, Andrzej Peruzic, playing excellent volleyball in 2023, and if you look at the other spreadsheet, you'll notice their numbers are biased a little bit to 2023. They have not had as much success here in 2024, but they've shown the ability to podium and to be atop the podium at the highest level at the Elite 16 event, so they certainly have to be a team you're going to look at. Plus 900 for Peruzic and Schweiner. Then you work your way down. Miles, Partain, Andy Benish are sitting there at plus 1,200, and Stefan Bormans and Jörg de Groot also sitting there at plus 1,200. They have 1 medal of each color, And the thing about them is they've done it a lot more recently than has, say, a Perugic and Schweiner. All three won the ability to win at the highest level. Cecchia hasn't podium in 2024. I would say my gambling strategy here, probably on the men's side, we'll take a look at some long shots here. Maybe you want to mess around a little bit. My gambling strategy is to bet hard and heavy on Sweden because I know it's not popular, but it's the team that's going to win. So you can get cute, you can have some fun, you can look for the good odds, and we'll do a little bit of that, kind of cover our nut, maybe have a little bit of fun. You can root for an underdog. Sweden's going to win the whole thing. I would say take half your unit. If you got a whole unit that you're going to put on men's odds to odds to win gold in Paris on the beach volleyball side, on the men's side, I would say if you have $100 to spend, for example, I would say take 50 of that and just dump it at plus 175 for Sweden because they're going to win it. $50 at plus 175. It's going to net you back, what is that, $87 on top of your 50, come out with 130, you're good. And the important thing about that 130 is you get the $100 to spend, you take that and you put it in, it's going to cover your losses and you're still going to be up a little bit. I like Norway at plus 350. I would put, if we're doing $50 on Sweden, or maybe, that's a tough one. Maybe I go $60 on Sweden, and then I go maybe $25 on Norway to win the whole thing. And then you want to sprinkle a little bit. I'm saying where you should sprinkle, I would take a look at Partain and Benish or Bormans and de Groot. And honestly, if I didn't have the USA bias, if I didn't have my red, white, and bush light shirt on right now, I think the wiser pick is probably Jorg de Groot and Stefan Bormans. They've been playing excellent volleyball lately. They're ranked 9th in my list, but that's because they kind of came on later, halfway through the season last year, so they didn't have an entire 18-month window here to tack on points there. But really, since they came into their own at the end of last year and coming into the beginning of this year, they've shown the ability to win at the highest level. They beat Sweden in that finals in Qatar back in March. So I think an excellent value pick there at plus 1,200. So if you take $10 and you turn it into $120, you're not doing too bad there. So sprinkle, a little bit on Cecchia. I think Partain and Benish could do it. I don't think this is their year to do it. I'm telling you, if you can find odds to podium out there, I haven't found them yet. I would say Ehrers and Vickler are good if you can get them at plus 800 or better. And I would say Partain and Benish, same thing. You can get them at plus like 600-700 odds to podium. I think they'll podium or take a fourth maybe for Partain and Benish. I don't think they're going to go all the way this year. I don't think it's their best opportunity to do so. I think come Los Angeles 2028, I think they'll probably be up in your top 1 or 2 best odds to win gold at that point. They're not there yet, I don't think. They haven't shown the consistency. They did for a 3-week stretch back in the summer of 2023, but since then it's been a grind to get back to where they were. So Amman and Helvig, they win the whole thing. I don't think there's any question about that in my mind, but I would insure that bet with a little bit on Mol and Sarum, and then it's really everybody else. And if you're going to sprinkle a little bit, look for a long shot, probably Bormans and de Groot. No respect at all intended here towards George and Andre. That's a team I love to watch. They play with fire. They play with heart. There's no world where I can see them coming up against either Mol and Sarum or Amman and Helvig in a semi or in a final and winning that match. They haven't shown the ability to do it at that highest level yet to win gold at the Elite 16 level. I don't think it starts in Paris here. I love the team. I think they're great. Another team I think would be really good odds. If you can get them good odds to podium, I think take them, or at least take a look at it. But I don't think they get to the very top of that podium. I can see a silver medal maybe for George and Andre in their future, as they did in Stade a couple weeks ago. I don't see it happening in Paris come about 17 days from now. Let's work our way down. I liked one thing about this list right here. So take a look and you compare odds to win versus my Bet the Beach point rank. Amman and Helvig are 1, and they're 1. Mol and Sarum 2 and 2. The next best odds to win, Perugic and Schweiner, I had them at 5th in my point schedule. I explained why that happened. 6th, Partain and Benish. Bormans and de Groot 9th. Working our way down there, George and Andre. Brill and Loziak. A team there at 7 points at plus 1,200. I wouldn't touch that for gold. There's no way they get on the top of that podium. I'm sorry, guys. I think you're a good team, but you're not going to win gold in Paris. No chance. Cuba sitting there at plus 1,200. I have them in the 18th ranked team, and no golds at the Elite 16 level, no silvers at the Elite 16 level, and only 1 bronze, and all in the last 8 months. hadn't watched them play really, at the highest level until February, March of this past year, and probably even April at that point in the first challenge events down in Brazil. But sitting there at plus 1,200, what bad odds? I mean, as far as bad as if you wanted to put money on it. You give me a Cuba down there at like plus 250 or 2,500, which is where I'd expect him to be, and I would love to play with that all day. But a plus 1,200 for Cuba? That's a weird number for me. I'd stay the hell away from that number. I don't like that at all. I don't think anybody's betting that number. I wouldn't be surprised to see that number fall a little bit, but hey, they know better than I do. Sharif and Ahmed at plus 1,400. That's a good number for them. They're not going to win the whole thing, I don't think, but the defending bronze medalists from Tokyo 4 years ago, 3 because of COVID, they're in the middle of the mix. I don't think anybody expects them to win, but it's not a bad number. If that number was a little lower, I'd be interested. I think they could go on a run, but haven't really shown the ability to podium consistently. Only one podium over the course of the last 18-month qualification window for Sharif and Ahmed. Not good enough, I would say. Evandro and Arthur, great team. I love them. Probably one of my favorite teams in the tour. They're not going to win at all. Stay away at plus 2,000. Immers and Van de Velde, if that number was lower, I'd be interested. But at plus 2,000, again, no. Here's a team I like. Italy. Sorry. Get my mouse to wake up here. It's good TV, everybody, right? Trying to get the mouse to wake up. Fine, I'll just use my laptop here. So where was I? So as far as doing a little sprinkling, a little pixie dust, give it a little dab, give it a little $10, $20. What do you think? Italy's Paolo Nicolai and Samuel Cartofava. Paolo Nicolai been to 3 Olympics. Took a 5th in 2012 in London, took a 2nd in Rio in 2016, and then took a 5th in 2020 in Tokyo with then partner Danielle Lupo. Nicolai and Cartofava get together. They made a semis and took a 4th just last weekend in Stade. It's a longer format tournament. Happens over the course of like 15 days, something like that. Yeah, exactly. 108 matches over the course of 15 days. You never play more than 1 match per day. That benefits a guy with some age on him in Paolo Nicolai, a guy who's been around for years and years and years and years. So I like the team a lot. You see there, as far as my points systems goes, I had them as the 8th ranked team in my point system. They got 2 silver medals at the Elite 16 level. For me, they're the only outlier here, and at a number that I like. Plus 2,500 is a nice little number there for a team that just needs to get hot for a couple of days. Give me a good performance on the 7th, 8th, and 10th. Just kind of go wild for a couple of days, and you're turning $100 into $2,500 easily there with Paolo Nicolai and Samuel Cartofava, and a guy who's been to 3 Olympics already, has been around the block, knows how to do it, knows how to handle the experience. Got the youngster in there with Samuel Cartofava, 10 years his junior, running around behind him, defending. Do a little jump setting once in a while. You like that? See the old man jump set? I mean, younger than me, so I guess I can call him old if he's younger than me. I don't know. I'm not sure how that works. But a plus 2,500, I don't hate that. So maybe just sprinkle a little bit. Sprinkle a little bit on Paolo Nicolai, Samuel Cartofava, Italy's number 1 team, plus 2,500. I don't hate that. France isn't going to win it. Don't waste your money. Australia's not going to win it. Don't waste your money. Same with Spain. I think Herrera's been to like 6 Olympics at this time. By now, he's been in Olympics for as long as I've been alive, basically. But at plus 5,000, it's not worth touching. Italy's Karen Rangieri got bounced out of the qualies in Vienna yesterday. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if it's an injury or what, but Adrian, Mr. Skyball, one of my favorite players, was playing such good volleyball last season, and I don't know if time caught up with those two or what happened exactly, but it seems like the gas ran out for the two of them. They're not going to see the top of that podium. Miles Evans and Chase Buttinger at plus 6,600. If you're the type of person, kind of like I am, that does all your smart bets and then takes a little bit and puts it on somebody to make a run. I like Evans and Buttinger. A 5th or a 9th is where I think I said this last week. I think 5th and a 9th is where those two guys probably end up. So if you give top 10 odds, Evans and Buttinger, and you give me plus money, and it's doesn't look too bad, maybe I'll put it in there. But I think that's about as far as my money's going to go down here on the list from for Paris here in 2024. That'll about do it, I would say. Follow along on the social media platforms, on Instagram, the stories, and on Twitter as Vienna goes along. Maybe you can follow along and win yourself some money. We're going to win some money this weekend, even though we're down 2 units already. 2 $10 bets down the drain during qualies. We're going to get back on that horse in the morning. We're going to start winning some money. So follow along for that. Follow along for these updated odds posted so you can take a closer look at them compared to my my ranking scheme. I'll get you all the information there. Also go to the blog. All this is up in the blog now to this exact spreadsheet here posted 2 days ago or yesterday on betthebeach.com. Always make sure you check the blog out. Next week, July 17th, Wednesday, July 17th, it is our Mega Olympic episode 2, where we will, part 2, the Olympic Mega Show part 2. We're going to do the exact same thing we did today on the women's side. And let me give you a little teaser, a little hint. On the men's side, it's Sweden, it's Norway, and then it's everybody else. On the women's side, it's Brazil and the USA and everybody else. But I'll tease, a little teaser for you so you tune in next week. It's only one of the 2 USA teams in my mind that has separated themselves from the other team. We'll talk about that. Talk about a couple of long shot favorites, maybe a couple teams you can sprinkle some money on that might be a little bit better odds, kind of deeper in the format. And I'll give you one more hint. One of the teams I want to have you sprinkle a little money on to win gold there, kind of a long shot underdog story. One of the same countries I mentioned here today on the men's side. Might want to sprinkle a little bit. Get a little good odds for yourself for Paris. So there we go. We got 17 days until the Paris Olympics start. We got beach volleyball in Vienna for the next 5 days. Then it's a little time off. We can rest. We can really get into this. We can start getting our money in there. We can get ready because we got 108 matches. We got 15 days. And we got the best 4 months of beach volleyball you can ever think of coming up. You got Elite 16 now. You got 15 days of beach volleyball. 108 matches over 15 days from Paris, France, the Olympics, the biggest event in the sport. Then we got Manhattan Beach Open. Then we got Chicago. Then we got the Hermosa Beach Open, non-affiliated with AVP, on its own, one international, one domestic. That'll be cool. Then the AVP League starts the following weekend, and we got like 8 straight weeks of AVP League. Pumped for that. Also, Wapaka on the AVP side this weekend as well. Taylor Crabb and Taylor Crabb are back, defending champs from last week. Congratulations to Alisson. Congratulations to Evan Corey getting his first AVP win. He may have won a Tour Series event, but at this new so-called contender level event, he gets the win. Savvy Simo and Abby Van Winkle get the win in Denver on the women's side. I would have loved to have watched those finals matches on replay, but AVP hasn't posted them anywhere. I can get the every other match, but I can't get the 2 finals matches because Bally's live. It's in the name, I guess. Doesn't do on demand. Live content only. Come on, AVP. You got the recording somewhere. Put it on your YouTube, please. Love to see it. Taylor Crabb and Taylor Sander go 3 sets against Alisson and Evan Corey. Evan Corey gets the win, lays down, almost crying. He's so excited. Alisson picks him up, the mammoth. Great scenes, but I want to see the whole match. I'd love to see it. Come on, AVP. So, Wapaka this weekend, Vienna this weekend. Next Wednesday, come right back here to the Sandbar, the Olympic Mega Show Part 2, women's side, July 17th. Until then, we'll see you later.